The log had my name in it, dated 6 days before I was ever hired. I read it twice, floating in the dark of a station that had been dead for years. My name, my rank, and the exact hour we'd arrive. Rewind 11 hours. We found her the way you find a drowned thing, by the one light that wouldn't go out. The station hung against the stars, tumbling slow, every window black but one. A single pod, still glowing. Command had flagged it a salvage run. No survivors expected. The beacon was faint, a whisper on an old frequency, the kind of signal that's already ancient by the time it reaches you. We matched its spin and docked. Inside, the cold owned everything. No gravity, no air worth breathing, frost blooming across dead consoles. Our lamps cut narrow roads through the dark. The station had died slowly, power gone, heat bled out into the vacuum, room by room. But something down in the medical bay was still drinking power. We followed the cables like veins, and there she was, sealed in a cryopod, its own reactor idling low. A small, stubborn heart the dying ship couldn't kill. Frost feathered the glass. Behind it, a woman, perfectly still. No breath fogged the visor. Her monitor showed almost nothing, a heartbeat every few minutes, brain activity flatter than the floor. By every reading we had, she was dead. And she wasn't. That's the cruel truth about deep cryo. The freezing was never the hard part. Waking is, rewarming shock, tissue tearing, the blood remembering how to flow. Wake her wrong and we'd simply finish what the cold had started. Nobody wanted to touch that switch. So we did the safe thing first. We went for her logs. The core computer still breathed on backup cells, timestamps ticking in the black. Corrupted, most of it. But one file opened clean, and Reyes read it aloud over the comm. It was a diary. Hers. Voice to text, months of it. The slow record of a woman watching her station die around her. Systems failing, crew gone. She never said how. Just her, and the pod, and a promise she kept repeating. They're coming. Then the entries changed. They stopped describing the past. They started describing us. A rescue ship, 3 crew, docking on the starboard ring. The colors of our hull. The dent in our airlock. "You're written," the file said, 4 years ago. Reyes went quiet. Then he read the next line, and his voice cracked. It listed our names, the captain's, his, mine, spelled right. Beside mine, a note. He will read this and not believe it. I was reading it. I did not believe it. We checked the timestamps against the ship's clock a dozen ways. No error. The files were older than our contract, older than the day command pulled our names from a list. She had written about a crew that, when she wrote it, did not yet exist. The captain's voice came thin over the channel. It's a trick. Recorded loop, spoofed dates, somebody's idea of a joke. But her hands were shaking on the rail. Nobody spoofs a dent in an airlock they've never seen. Nobody guesses your middle name. The log kept going, and it stopped feeling like a record. It felt like instructions. They will argue in the medical bay, it read. We were arguing in the medical bay. One of them will want to leave. Reyes was already backing toward the door. Every line it spoke, we performed a breath later. It named the flicker in our lamp before it flickered. It knew the captain would order us to disengage, and she opened her mouth to do exactly that, then stopped, terrified of proving it right. And that was the trap of it. If we ran because she'd written we might. If we stayed because she'd written we would. The log wasn't predicting us, it was steering us. Or we were the reason it existed at all. The last clean entry was a single line. Wake me? You already have. The tense of it broke something in my head. I looked at the captain. She looked at the pod. Then she nodded. Not like a choice, more like a memory. We ran the revival by the book we barely trusted. Warmed the core first, coaxed the heart. The monitor climbed. One beat, then a cluster, then a rhythm. Cryoprotectant flushed clear. The glass cleared. Her eyelids moved, frost cracking at the seams. Her eyes opened straight onto mine, calm, unsurprised, like she'd paused a conversation and come back to it. Her lips were dry. The first word took effort. When it came, it wasn't a question. She said my name, the way you greet someone late. You're here, she breathed. Good. I wasn't sure which time you'd come. I asked her how she knew us. She almost laughed. I didn't know you. I remembered you. I wrote the logs after you came. They just reached me first. She'd been adrift near something the charts only marked as a shadow, a gravity well that bent the clocks. Down there, she said. Time didn't run in a line. Her tomorrow leaked into her yesterday. She'd lived our rescue before she was left to wait for it. The signal that called you, she said. I never sent it. You did. It just arrived early. And I understood the shape of it. Cold and perfect. We came because the log described us. The log existed because we came. A loop with no first cause, closed and humming. We took her home. She recovered. She never wrote another word she couldn't explain. The station we let fall into the dark, still tumbling, still whispering its faint old beacon out into the years. Someone, someday, will hear it. Maybe already has. Every distress call is a voice from the past. Light is slow and space is wide. That's the rule. But hers spoke from the future, named us, and waited. So decide for yourself. Prophecy, paradox, or something. The dark was never meant to say out loud.